That green thing is catalog management software for music publishers. This is the 6th episode of video tutorials. In this episode, we'll talk a bit about recordings. There are two ways to add or edit recordings. One is to go to recordings. However, most of TGT users choose to edit them in the Workspace view. We added this work in our last episode about CWR. We'll just scroll down. And, in the recording section, click on Add another recording. Only if a recording or a version title is different from the work title, you should enter them. Again, we'll skip suffixes for now, they will be covered in our video about libraries. ISRC stands for International Standard Recording Code. But, that is a topic for another video. Let us also add a record label by clicking here. We just enter the name and save. We'll also add the recording artists. Let's add the first and last names and save. Also the duration, the format is hours:minutes:seconds. We'll also add the date. You can choose the date format. We find that the big endian format, with year first, is the best to avoid confusion in the international setting. A bit down this view, we have an artist section. If we know that an artist performs this work, but we have no information about any recordings, we enter the artist here. When we save, we can see that the number of recordings has increased to 1. We are talking about recordings, artists and labels. But, why do we need this data? In an ideal world where each recording contains metadata about the underlying musical work, this would not be required. But in this world, in order to get paid, publishers must provide as much information as possible. It is done by exchanging common works registration files. We have two containing this work. Let's click here. This one I added behind the scenes, but let's first open the old one. This is the file from our last episode. Note that the registration ends with a PW line. In the new one, we have 6 additional lines. But, wait, we only entered 1 recording and 1 extra artist. Why 6 lines then? Well, this is CWR version 2.1. In 2.1 and 2.2, the recording data cannot contain data about the recording artist. Nor can it contain recording or version titles. So, this is the best one can do with CWR2. This will be fixed once CWR3 is finally processed by CMOs. Until then, we have 2.1 or 2.2 with recording and version titles as alternative titles, each artist separately, regardless if entered as recording or just performing artist, and then the recording with very few information. Remember, I said we can access recordings by clicking here. Let's do that now. This is the recording list view, similar to other list views. The list contains our only entered recording. When we open it, it looks similar to the inline section in Work Editing view, except that it has one more field, the musical work, here. Recordings must reference works they are based on. This should be a global rule, but we can only enforce it in our software. If you need to enter metadata about recordings without work metadata, this is not the software for you. That green thing is music catalog software for music publishers and music labels who do their own publishing. We'll explain that scenario later in this series. As usual, all relevant links are in the description. Here is the complete That Green Thing series and 3 sub-series. IT, covering our behind-the-scenes tech, concepts, and tutorials. Please share our content with music industry professionals. Subscribe, like, and most importantly, keep watching.